opening statement. Team high in turnovers, team low in shooting percentage, which is especially sad when you look at this shot chart. Angry old hoops, it's been a while. Let's catch up. Let me go back a few games and comment on those and catch up to Christmas Day. Oh, SantaBron, you were generous. Thank you so much for the Christmas gifts. Anyway, let me go back to Celtics Warriors, when the Warriors actually beat the Celtics, and then the Warriors went on a little run. I think they won the game before that one, and then they won against the Blazers. And then, of course, on Christmas Day, they lost to the Nuggets, and the Lakers lost to the Celtics. Well, how on earth did the Warriors beat the Celtics? And I would say, looking back, that it's because Porzingis wasn't playing. The Warriors are small, and yet they had all these opportunities at the rim, which was kind of a refreshing change. It's usually, complete failure to convert at the rim, and Steph Curry having to save the day. Now, Steph had a lot of shots from beyond the arc, but you also now have Trace Jackson Davis with the ability to play above the rim and finish lobs and do putbacks. And Kuminga is showing signs of what he's capable of. Why are the Warriors showing their potential now? Is it the absence of the cancer, Draymond Green? And I would say that what that has in common with the Lakers is that LeBron James is also a cancer. The two unclutched sports guys. And if the Lakers didn't have LeBron, I think that they'd be doing pretty darn well. As much as the media likes to shit on the roster, that is a hell of a roster. Now we go back to that Warriors-Celtics game. The Celtics played Quetta, number 88, a little bit. And when he was in, he did a pretty good job. But I don't know what it is with these NBA coaches, these professionals who don't seem to be able to adapt on the fly. They don't seem to be able to change their game plan or adjust to what's happening on the floor. Really kind of sad. Even Steve Kerr is quite guilty of this. So my point is that if they had let Quetta play more, the Celtics might have done a better job against the Warriors and pulled that one out, Porzingis or not. That guy, Quetta, 7 foot, 250, only costs the Celtics $500,000 for one season contract. And I've been saying for years, why can't the Warriors do that? Why can't the Warriors go and find some guys like that, some big bodies? $500,000, really? You can't come up with that for a big 7-footer just to help out a little bit here and there. Anyway, let's fast forward to Lakers Celtics, and well, the big difference was that Porzingis came back. Again, I don't think the Warriors would have beat the Celtics, or maybe they wouldn't have. I don't know if Porzingis had been playing. And Porzingis had a hell of a game against the Lakers. Now, this wasn't so much about Davis versus Porzingis. And Horford played and Quetta played a little bit again. But going into that Celtics game, I almost posted something saying Anthony Davis will be the difference maker. Anthony Davis is the X factor for the Lakers because the Celtics, center-wise, don't have a guy that just wows you. Davis can do what he wants against Horford, I think, and Davis did pretty well against Quetta. And like I said, Porzingis and Davis didn't really match up that often in the game. And Davis had himself a hell of a game. Quite the stats he put up. But ultimately, the Lakers couldn't overcome LeBron James. And if you go back to the statement I just made, going into the game, the difference maker was going to be Anthony Davis and Anthony Davis's ability to dominate. Why am I not saying that about LeBron James if LeBron James is the player that he's being heralded to be? Even now, age, year 21, all that be damned. These assholes are still saying that he is top 5, still the best in the league, all this ridiculous horse shit. He's not even the guy that you're saying is going to be the difference maker going into the game. And yet somehow he's more important than Anthony Davis. Now, I should say that LeBron was the difference maker, because if LeBron had sat with another fake injury, Lakers might have won, because that guy single-handedly stunk the joint up like an outhouse that hasn't been serviced in 5 years. So, what's next? We come to LeBron's excuses, always attached to this guy. Ahead of time, afterward, one way or another. There's always some sort of a safety net for him. And this time, it was, some really unnecessary comment about not really caring. The only thing he cared about was his daughter opening gifts on Christmas Day, which comments like this, I'm sure, work great on his small but minded fan base, saying, oh, God, he's such a great father figure. Listen, he has a job to do too. The world is full of fathers who like seeing their kids on Christmas who still have jobs to do. And this man chose as a profession to be a basketball player, and he gets paid ridiculously well for it. So guess what? You can man up and do your job while you're at your job. And I'm not buying the whole he wasn't motivated enough to play well. He was trying. He was just losing. And yet this ridiculous excuse is floating around on the web. He's like the guy who gets on the 100-yard dash starting line, sees the guy next to him, and then yells to the crowd, hey, just so you know, I don't really care about this race, and my hamstring's been bothering me, but we'll go ahead and race anyway. Just so everyone knows, it doesn't really count. If you're really that upset about playing on Christmas, fake an injury again. I mean, who's going to tell you that you can't do what you want to do? Clearly, you have changed the system to where you can sit during anthems, you can eat dinner on the sidelines, you can skip whatever games you want to, and no one calls you out for it in the mainstream media. So why not just skip the Christmas game if you're going to fucking whine about it ahead of time? Now, Uncommon Sense brought up the old school guys had a sense of obligation. They felt a sense of obligation to the fans to perform, to do their job. Let me say it again. To do their fucking jobs. You know, they're not out there doing a charity on Christmas. They're getting paid more on that day than the rest of us are going to make in the entire fucking year. Okay? You get to play basketball for a living. Shut the fuck up. But I'm taking this a little bit further. It's not just a sense of obligation. It actually is an obligation. It is an obligation. It is your job. Now, things have changed to where now people only have a sense of obligation. Now even the sense of obligation is gone. These spoiled brats get rewarded no matter how they behave. So of course they're acting this way. You keep giving and giving and giving, and they'll take. And this started with the player empowerment. Everybody was upset that the owners were making all of this money and their players were making them rich. Well, ultimately, it's us fans who were making both the players and the owners rich. So how about if they're both poor? Can we all be happy? And maybe they'll be motivated to try harder again. I mean, this effort to make it fair, this effort to make the entertainers as well paid as the owners, as justified as that may be, has actually ended up ruining the game. I'd rather watch guys who are paid a lot less battle their hearts out on Christmas Day than spoiled brat millionaires who sort of, kind of, maybe have a sense of obligation, but they're torn because they'd rather be home with their children. You know, not only was this Christmas Day, but it was home court, Lakers territory. LeBron, shut your fucking mouth and fucking do your job. And be thankful that you have the job. You should be begging on the streets. Isn't Christmas Day, with millions of people watching and being on your home court, the very opportunity to show what you're made of, to
do something for the ages, to pull off some heroics. And speaking of heroics, so with 2:40 left in the game, James came out. The score was 121 to 107 at the time, which is a 14-point lead. Guess what? 14 points is not a big lead, particularly in 2023 when people are just scoring the way that they're scoring. How much does that say by itself? The coach, the team, everybody knows that LeBron is not the guy to pull off a miracle. LeBron is not the guy to pull off a miracle. Whether he's capable of it physically or not, he isn't mentally capable of it, and apparently not willing either. You know what? Even if you didn't have a good chance at winning, who told you that it's your right to quit? You fight until the end. And to support the point that I'm making, not only is it possible for a team to come back from a 14-point deficit with about 3 minutes left, individual players have scored enough to cover that deficit themselves, much less a team, in less than 3 minutes. I think Lenny Wilkins has the record. He has the most points dropped in a game with fewer than 3 minutes played. It was actually just 1 minute with 16 points. And interestingly enough, it was against the Lakers on October 19th, 1967. Tracy McGrady nearly scored that deficit that the Lakers had by himself in 33 seconds. 13 points in 33 seconds. You guys remember that? Reggie Miller. Who can forget Reggie Miller scoring 8 points in 9 seconds? You know, that's more than 50% of the deficit that we're talking about here in way less time. And of course, there's 2016 when the Oklahoma City Thunder blew a 9-point lead against the Warriors in the last minutes of the game. There are more examples, but I think you get the point. Oh, and regarding LeBron tweeting about the Hall of Fame, what stands out to me, I mean, obviously it's disgusting, but what stands out to me is the comments underneath of his tweet, which all the fans are able to answer the question. LeBron's like, I'm just asking. Why can't someone be inducted into the Hall of Fame while they're playing? I'm just asking. Just saying. And all these people replied with the reasons why. Dude, you're a basketball player and you're 21. How about instead of sheepishly and childishly tweeting your discontent in the form of a question, you go ahead and look up the answer yourself? I mean, because the answer exists. So clearly this is just him bitching and wanting more attention, and his ego interfering with him focusing on his job. How is this on your mind? More disturbing is that it tells me he's not planning to retire. You know, if he was going to retire and get inducted into the Hall of Fame soon, you know, maybe he wouldn't be bothering with this. So I'm afraid he intends to get pushed down the court in a wheelchair for a few more years by Adam Silver and the Zebras, or maybe he just wants another thing to be able to say, the first player to be active while being inducted into the Hall of Fame. All these little stupid fucking things that his fanboys can say. Jordan never did this. Okay. All right. Well, that has been the AOH holiday catch up. I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, I forgot to give a great big fuck you to Jason Tatum for still, after all these years, not being smart enough to implement a pump fake. And no, I wouldn't have called that foul that the refs called. And I don't buy the bullshit pushing it off onto Taurean Prince. The one thing I will say is that LeBron touching him on the lower back, while I would not call that a foul, is what other people do to LeBron, and it does get called a foul. In fact, I have a whole compilation of this that I'm going to release at some point. But still, Tatum, you dipshit. You know exactly what LeBron's going to do, and he won't challenge you face to face. You know he's going to come from behind on help D. You fucking idiot. Just He just stopped serving this shit up. It's called a pump fake, everybody. Oh, and how can I not complain about Kendrick Perkins? The guy is on TV and YouTube more than ever. You know, it's sacrilegious seeing him on the screen on Christmas Day. You know, I just turn the channel, change the YouTube feed the second I see him come on. It's like ESPN rewarded the guy for being racist and stupid, which I guess confirms what ESPN is, a reality TV show that likes controversy and ratings, except that the ratings aren't very good, right? Oh, how could I forget to comment on the theatrics? There's not a game that goes by, so, you know, it doesn't stand out that much anymore. There's not a game that goes by that LeBron isn't rolling on the ground as if he just suffered a season-ending injury and then, you know, pops back up. And it's just shameful, not just as an athlete, but as a man. It's just embarrassing. How could any of you fanboys cheer for this crybaby piece of overly dramatic shit? But it's not just that. I swear, after he kneed Jaylen Brown in the back, if that had been done to LeBron James, it would have been reviewed as a potential flagrant, by the way. But it's not just that. I swear LeBron caught out of his eye that Jaylen was hurt and down, and was like, "No, I'll top that. I'm going to be more dramatic than you, so that the attention is on me. The refs won't dare punish me if I cry louder than the other guy." It's like the scene from Tropic Thunder where they're trying to outcry each other. He might be the most embarrassing human being. Lastly, I want to give some shout outs to other channels. I would like you guys to go give some love to Oh the Agony. Not as many views on the videos at Oh the Agony TV, but I've been listening and he's got some good stuff. And also, Uncommon Sense is going to go ahead and write me a jingle to play for my podcast. And we're just going to do a little fundraiser. So whatever you guys feel like donating to the Uncommon Sense Jingle Foundation will be going straight into the pockets of Uncommon Sense.